Clint Eastwood was born Clinton Eastwood Jr. on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, California, during a period of deep economic uncertainty in America. His childhood was shaped by constant movement across the state as his father searched for steady work during the Great Depression, an experience that quietly instilled resilience, independence, and emotional restraint. Eastwood rarely speaks of these years with sentimentality, yet they forged the self-reliant temperament that later defined both his on-screen presence and his real-life demeanor. After high school, he drifted through a series of physically demanding jobs, including logging and factory work, before being drafted into the U.S. Army during the Korean War. It was during his military service that Eastwood first encountered others pursuing acting, planting a seed that would slowly grow. Those early years created a man uncomfortable with excess emotion, a trait that would later influence both his artistic choices and his lingering regrets. From television breakthrough to global stardom, Eastwood's first true foothold in entertainment came in the late 1950s, when he was cast as Rowdy Yates on the television western Rawhide. Initially a supporting role, his quiet intensity and natural screen authority quickly captured audience attention. Though television fame brought financial stability, Eastwood felt creatively constrained, sensing he was capable of more than studio-approved heroics. That opportunity arrived in Italy, when director Sergio Leone cast him in A Fistful of Dollars in 1964. The film's success reshaped the Western genre and transformed Eastwood into an international icon. His man-with-no-name trilogy persona, stoic, morally ambiguous, and stripped of sentiment, became his signature. By the late 1960s, Eastwood was no longer simply an actor. He was a symbol of rugged masculinity and controlled intensity. Yet behind this growing confidence, he remained acutely aware of missteps, compromises, and projects that failed to align with his evolving artistic instincts. The 1970 film that still haunts him. Among Eastwood's extensive filmography, Two Mules for Sister Sara, 1970, stands apart, not because of failure at the box office, but because of the personal discomfort it left behind. The film paired Eastwood with Shirley MacLaine in a Western adventure that blended violence with humor and romantic misdirection. On paper, it appeared promising, but from the start, Eastwood felt uneasy. At the time, he was caught between eras, no longer the silent drifter of Leone's films, but not yet the director-author he would become. The role demanded a lighter, more playful tone that clashed with his instinctive seriousness. Eastwood has since admitted that the experience felt wrong at a fundamental level, creating a lingering aversion. Unlike other projects he critiques openly, this one he avoids entirely. The refusal to revisit the film reflects not arrogance, but an artist's discomfort with seeing himself misaligned with his own identity, creative clash, and on-set tension. Much of Eastwood's unease stemmed from his working relationship with Shirley MacLaine, whose energetic, outspoken style contrasted sharply with his minimalist approach. MacLaine was deeply involved in character choices and story direction, often questioning decisions on set. Eastwood, by contrast, preferred efficiency, subtlety, and emotional restraint. Their clashing philosophies created friction that lingered throughout production. While no explosive confrontations were publicly recorded, the underlying tension was palpable. Eastwood later described the shoot as one of the least enjoyable of his career, a rare admission from a man known for understatement. The discomfort wasn't personal hostility so much as creative incompatibility. He felt constantly pulled away from the grounded realism he favored toward a tone that felt artificial. For Eastwood, whose confidence relies on instinct and control, that imbalance left a lasting impression, one strong enough that revisiting the finished product still feels emotionally grating decades later. A story that didn't sit right. Beyond interpersonal tension, Eastwood struggled with the film's narrative direction. Two Mules for Sister Sara attempted to blend traditional Western grit with playful deception and romantic comedy, culminating in the revelation that MacLaine's character was not a nun at all. Eastwood felt this twist weakened the emotional core of the story, shifting it toward gimmick rather than substance. His artistic instincts leaned toward moral consequence and psychological weight, qualities he later explored deeply as a director. In this film, he sensed those elements were sacrificed for novelty. Although director Don Siegel, later one of Eastwood's most trusted collaborators, handled the production competently, the tonal balance never settled. For Eastwood, the film represented a time when he lacked creative control, forced to accept decisions that conflicted with his inner compass. Watching it now would mean confronting a version of himself still learning how to say no, a symbol of creative transition. By 1970, Eastwood stood at a crossroads. He was no longer content being molded by studios, yet he had not fully claimed authorship of his own projects. Two Mules for Sister Sara sits squarely in that uneasy space. Shortly afterward, Eastwood began directing, starting with Play Misty for Me in 1971, a project that allowed him to define tone, pacing, and character without compromise. Films like High Plains Drifter and The Outlaw Josie Wales would soon follow, solidifying his identity as a filmmaker unafraid of darkness and moral ambiguity. In hindsight, Two Mules feels like the last echo of a phase he outgrew. Revisiting it would reopen memories of constraint, frustration, and artistic compromise, experiences he deliberately left behind when he took control of his own career. Silence as a form of honesty. Eastwood's refusal to watch or discuss the film speaks volumes. Unlike stars who publicly criticize early missteps, Eastwood chooses quiet distance. The film rarely appears in retrospectives or interviews, and when mentioned, his comments remain brief and restrained. This silence is not denial, but discernment. Eastwood understands that not every project deserves revisiting, especially those that represent inner conflict rather than growth. His legacy is built on forward momentum, not revision. By refusing to engage with Two Mules for Sister Sara, he protects the integrity of his artistic evolution. The film exists, but it does not define him. In an industry obsessed with nostalgia, Eastwood's refusal feels almost principled, a reminder that self-awareness sometimes means knowing which chapters to leave unopened. Legacy beyond a single film. Clint Eastwood's career spans decades of cultural change, artistic reinvention, and personal discipline. From Unforgiven to $1 Million Baby, his later work reflects a man deeply attuned to consequence, regret, and moral complexity. These themes suggest that his discomfort with Two Mules for Sister Sara is not trivial, but deeply rooted. The film lacks the gravity he later demanded of himself. While audiences may view it as a charming Western curiosity, Eastwood sees it through the lens of lived experience, of misalignment, compromise, and creative dissatisfaction. Refusing to rewatch it is not rejection of failure, but acknowledgement of growth. In the end, the film's absence from his reflections reinforces what defines Eastwood most, an unwavering commitment to authenticity, even when that means turning away from his own past.